We're going to get to the subject right here. All right, so HipHopDX put out a 2022 awards, and we got to get our awards together too, as far as like our categories. Best Rapper of 2022. Their nominees are J. Cole, J.I.D., Kendrick Lamar in the middle. They had him in the middle in all of their graphics. Pusha T and NBA YoungBoy. Now, obviously, it's in the show title. Nas is left out of this. I tried to do a little bit of research and to actually see why. Obviously, he was eligible. Um, I don't have any really good reason why the MC that made KD3 and started up this whole uproar about relevancy with 21 Savage and stuff. I have I have no idea why he's not on this list. I want to kind of pick away from the list. J. Cole doesn't have an album, right? Okay. Great features this year, no album. So right there, I feel like if we're putting it together and who should deserve that look more, I'm gonna say Nas over J. Cole, right? Okay, let's go to JID. We did on our Patreon. We went through a bunch of albums this past Monday, and if you're not signed up to the Patreon, make sure you sign up to it. A2HH Live on Patreon. We'll put the link in the chat too. But we played JID's album, and I think the JID, in my opinion, made the fifth best hip hop album this year. I think it was a very, very ambitious effort. And I said it when I heard it. I think that this is a lyricist of the year performance. But let's stack the Forever Story up against KD3, just for conversation purposes. I think KD3 did more numbers wise than the Forever Story the first week, and probably overall too. So it's not a numbers conversation. I think that more people spoke about KD3 than the Forever Story. I think the buzz is bigger. And I think that the album KD3 is better than the Forever Story. And I think the lyrical performance is actually better too. So I don't see how, he gets that look over Nas either. So I'll pick that. Kendrick. Now that's another album that we played on our Patreon.
You sure did. How did that go?
I'm gonna put up the track list. A lot of skips on this album. All right.
Putting up the track list of what?
I'm gonna put up the track list to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Let's play skip in play. All right. Unified in Grief. Skip. N95.
Skip.
You skipping that? I thought that was one of the keepers. Worldwide Steppers.
Skip.
You skipping, bro. Die Hard.
Skip.
Father Time. You skipping or keeping that? I got the graphic on the screen. I guess okay, he's skipping that.
My arms are folded.
Okay. Rich Spirit. Skipping that? What are the people saying in the chat? Or what? How many songs on this album
Can
are
I ask
you
you
playing?
something? Really, what is Rich Spirit about? What is it about? I want somebody to tell me like what it's about.
Turning somebody into a song.
Skip.
Okay. We Cry Together.
Ain't Ghost on there?
No, We Cry Together is the domestic violence joint where they're going back and forth.
You need to skip that twice.
I don't know if you're being fair now. They said Coop's bugging. Okay, Purple Hearts. That's the Ghostface joint.
We can play Ghost first. Next.
Count Me Out.
Is that the start of the second album? Right? Count Me Out?
Yep.
I actually like that record. That's not bad.
Okay, so you got one that you're keeping on here. Crown.
Yeah, Crown's cool.
Okay. All right, 2 songs in a row getting played. Silent Hill.
Victory.
Okay. What about Savior?
Savior what?
Okay, you skipping that or you playing that? You playing
We
say
skipping. We
skipping that?
skipping.
Okay. All right, Auntie's Diaries.
Are you playing that?
I am not playing that.
We was just on Mike. We just had the Patreon. I was on Campbellton Road playing some damn
Wait a minute. Let me say this for the people who weren't on the Patreon. So Coop's in the car, during the Patreon or whatever. We were doing a split screen, kind of like we're doing now. We was playing the music, and Coop's on Campbellton Road at this moment, and I'm playing Auntie's Diaries, and he's like, I can't be caught playing no shit like this, man. Who riding out to that? My auntie is a man
Yeah,
now.
he on Campbellton listening to Auntie's Diaries. Right. That's dangerous. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, no, get me out of here. Get me out of this car. No, something got to give.
All right, Mr. Morale. Skip.
It's cool. It's just cool.
All right. So we got a cool record.
I'm just gonna tell you what. Here's my thing with all these songs, Mike. All these songs just cool. That's what submit is. It's like, I'm not telling you that it's trash. Like, that's what I was saying. You're not hearing me call these records trash. I'm just like, skip, because it's like, no. I've been saying it. This ain't it. I didn't say it was trash. I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was a weed plate. I just said this is not it. I don't know what this is. I don't know what the intent is. I don't like the rhetoric. I don't like the production. I don't like the length. It's not good. It's a mid. Why can't we just say that it's a mid? You want to know what? And this is what I mean. I'm going to keep on going back to this. Oh, when Nostradamus came out, I was very clear. It's very clear. I was like, what is this? I remember when my boy Deron was playing it in the dorm room at UNCG. Was like, what is this? He was playing Nostradamus. I said, what is that? He said, that's Nas and shit. This shit fly. I said, that is not hot.
Jay Short says domestic violence equals skip. Rewind, then skip again. All right, this is crazy, man, because I wanted to, you know what? I'm kind of out of the loop in this sense where, other publications and their staff. I thought that Justin, forget his name. I know he was working with HipHopDX, the company guy. Justin, y'all help me out in the chat. Anyway, I was looking him up just to kind of get some clarification because I know that, he really does like a lot of lyrical breakdowns. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he can give me some type of insight on, why this is HipHopDX nominees. Well, he hadn't been with HipHopDX in the past 5 years, but I saw this video that he did on Mr. Morale. He did it recently. He did it in light of Mr. Morale's 8 Grammy nominations. And these are some of the interesting things that he had. Yeah, Justin Hunt. Thank you, guys. Some of the interesting things that he had to say about the album. He said, the album is too good to listen to. He admitted that it's not a listenable album, but he was saying that it was just groundbreaking. And it's one of those albums that, and the question that he asked is, how great can an album that you don't listen to be? Another statement that he said that was...
That's like a piece of artwork that you don't look at.
My thing is...
It's like a piece of art. Where is it? It's in the closet.
If we had a trivia show right now and we asked somebody, what is music meant to be? What are you meant to do with music? Listen to it, right? Isn't that the answer? So if it's not able to be listened to, what the fuck are we doing?
I mean, what type of stimulus did they send him to say this shit? Like, what is that?
The other thing he said was...
This is art. Like,
one of the... art. He said this is one of the greatest albums of this era. Okay. And then says, the greatest album I never listened to. Now, is that even a category?
Butterfly is the greatest album that I never listened to. This is mid.
The greatest, let me ask the people out there, what is the greatest album you never listened to? And if you never listened to it, how great is it to you?
To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm not joking. I'm not being funny or shady at all.
You said this
greatest
before.
Rap album that I never listened to, and I have said it multiple times. It's like, no, I understand everything that's great about it and beautiful and wonderful. Of all the classic rap albums that have ever been made, I play it the least. This is not even close to that. This is not even sniffing To Pimp a Butterfly.
At least To Pimp a Butterfly has All Right. It has
the records on To Pimp a Butterfly are laughing at these records.
Yeah, it has These Walls. It has How Much a Dollar Costs. It has Hood Politics, Mortal Man.
Mama said.
Other
like,
people
what are we talking about? Like, you understand, this is not even close to Pimp a Butterfly level, and I have walked up on here plenty of times and critiqued the replay factor of To Pimp a Butterfly. This is not even anything remotely close to that.
Have you ever, though, and have you ever listened to an album, any genre, and said, this album's too good to listen to, or this is the greatest album I never listened to? You know what I mean? It's almost like you're being forced to give an album some props. I would just not listen to it, and I wouldn't even categorize it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not being funny. Let's be honest about something, because he just got put out an album and it got taken away, and I know I talk about him because he's a nasty bastard. Mike, when we were growing up in the 90s, in the early 2000s, when R. Kelly would drop his albums, nobody would play an R. Kelly album and be like, man, this is so good, I think I need to put it away. When Tupac and Biggie were in their primes, when All Eyes on Me came out, Mike, and I heard Ambitions as a Rider, I wasn't like, ooh, hold on, wait, Ambitions as a Rider is such a strong start off to this album, I think I need to stop listening to it to preserve its epic status. Now, did I do that, Mike, or did I run that record back about 5 or 6 times before I even got to All About You?
I played Aquemini in the ground.
What the hell are we doing?
I played Aquemini in the ground, and I never sat there and said, you know what? This album is so good, I'm just going to put it up on my wall and never play it.
You want to know what? When Wanna Be Starting Something comes on, Mike, I say to myself, you want to know what? We need to put this album away and not listen to it. When Let's Go Crazy comes on, I'm like, you want to know what? I don't want to hear the greatest guitar riff ever. I think I'm going to put it away.
Let's dispel this notion that music is not meant to be.
Every time somebody talk like this, I think they're being paid now.
It sounds
by
like
the machine.
Who would even, and I say this respectfully because Justin knows his stuff, man. But who in their right mind would sit there and put the notion out there that music is not meant to be listened to? I'm going to dispel that right now. Music is made and produced and put out for people to listen to it, to consume it. It's damn near like saying that there's a product out there that you're not supposed to use. You're going to buy some cologne that this smells too good for me to put on and go out. I'm just going to sit here and look at this bottle because this cologne just smells too good.
Right. Actually, specifically speaking, Mike, you usually spray your good stuff on when you do what?
When you stepping out.
The hell are we talking about? What the hell are we talking about?
Let's just admit that this album's not good. Fuck it. It is what it is. The fact that most of these nominations came from a song that he normally doesn't even put on his albums, that wasn't on the original album, and ended up being added onto the album, lets you know everything that you need to know anyway. And the fact that people are force-feeding the greatness of this album, and you got people like Charlamagne saying it's going to be the greatest hip-hop album, or most important hip-hop album of all time. That's what he said. I don't want to misquote him. And you got people in the media talking about the greatest album I never listened to. What are we talking about? It's not a good album. If you're not going to listen to it, it's not a good album. Let's just be real.
That's that rapper weed. That's that rapper weed. They got to be smoking rapper weed or something. Like, it's bad.
And I disagree with you, Coop. I think back in our day, this album would be a weed plate. It would be. If you ain't listening to it, you got to use it for something. This shit can carry the herb. If you bought it, because that's the whole thing where the weed plate came from. Like, for the people who aren't from that era, when you go to the store and you buy a CD and you ain't gonna play that shit, I gotta use this shit for something. I spent money on it. I ain't gonna just throw away something that could be a weed plate. This album will be a weed plate. It is what it is. Because you said it yourself. Well, Justin said it himself. Not gonna listen to it. Gotta use it for something.
You're not gonna listen to it because it's not that good.
Gotta use it for something.
It's not that good.
Anyway, so in my opinion, best rapper of 2022. I mean, I think Kendrick is a very interesting thing in this category because some of the writing that he did was some of the best
This ain't no fucking Pulitzer surprise though. Like. What?
Fuck it, he shouldn't be in this category because you know what? If you're writing, fine, but you're rapping, so you shouldn't be in the rapper category.
What? Where's his verse of the year contender on this album?
Monty is a man now. I think it might have been the second verse.
What, the last verse?
Yeah.
Or the second verse?
I guess, yeah.
One of those?
One of those. I can't tell you how it goes. I'm not going to lie.
That's not, you want to know how you don't know how it goes?
Because I don't listen to it.
Thank you. It's ridiculous.
The greatest album I never listened to. That's one of the wildest things I've ever heard in the media. It's I think the craziest part is too good to listen to.
Step up and say this wild shit that I think people are getting paid. I want people to understand that it's not when uncredible people do uncredible things. It's when somebody who I know is viable says some outlandish shit like that. And I'm like, hold on, it's like, fam, I know you know better.
Somebody like Justin Hunt goes out there and breaks down lyrics. You know what I mean? Like,
he knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff.
When you showed me the clip, I was like, oh, him, because I just didn't know him by name. I'm like, oh no, he know his shit.
It said Mr. Morale verse 2. I think his verse of the year, though, speaking of which, it's probably going to be The Heart Part 5.
I can't please everybody.
Doesn't sound like he's pleasing anybody, really. I would say The Heart Part 5 is... Because when we heard The Heart Part 5, we didn't think Samid was coming.
I told you, I was like, it's cool. Something like this wouldn't register for his albums.
Well,
and then it found its way onto the album,
and it's the best song on the album.
It's not even a question.
Yeah, unquestionably the best song on the album. So yes, I'm taking him out of the best rapper category. Now, if we had like a category best poet, or maybe best sonnet writer.
Best writer on a rap album?
Yeah, best writer on a... There you go. Okay, he gets in that.
Best writer on a rap album.
I'll give you that.
There you go. Now we've given him something. Now put that mid off to the side. We're taking him out of this rapper category. I hope all his fans are happy. He got something. He got something. You're the best writer in a rap category. Except you're not, because Nas is still the best at that, too. Next. Not getting him anything.
Now, Pusha T. What do you think about Pusha T being there? I mean, I think it is what it is. Like...
Can we just stop for a second?
Yeah.
Black Thought and Nas need to be in here.
Okay. And Freddie?
I was actually about to surprise you. Who do you think's been the better rapper this year? Because I know Benny, I feel like maybe his rap better this year.
Than Freddie?
Yeah, like Freddie made the better album, but if we were going by the bars, like the rap shit,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, Benny has some highlights this year, and he has an album.
Johnny P's Caddy, like he's not no slouch on Johnny P's Caddy. No. I don't know why people are talking like his verse isn't fire. It is. You and I have blow for blow on repeat pretty much since it came out.
What do you think about Baldy being considered? I can't ignore what Gibbs did though, and I'm not saying it's one or the other. I think Benny and Gibbs deserve to be in there.
Okay, here's what I tell you is that Boldy this year wasn't as good as the other year, the previous 2 years for him, and so cumulatively he's been having a great little 3-year run, but this would be the weakest of the 3-year run since we've been doing the podcast. So I would say no to Boldy. Only 5 slots, right?
Yeah.
So for me, Nas and Black Thought are a given because that's the first and the third best album this year, and probably your 1 and 3 lyricists all time. It's like 1 and 3 album, 1 and 3 lyricists all time. Verse of the year contenders everywhere. Aquamarine, arguably verse of the year and song of the year. Mike and Quincy, arguably verse of the year and song of the year. Like, no, those guys are in there. Nas and Black Thought are in there.
Yeah.
I feel like J. Cole has had the best feature run.
He just hadn't, he hadn't had enough, man.
He didn't make an album.
Yeah, he didn't make an album.
And so not about like the spit game. If we're doing a featured artist category, he's in the center.
Well, this
but
is
as
the
far
thing.
as just like on a rap level,
right.
I feel like you need to make an album. So I'm cool with Black Thought and Nas, Benny and Freddie. And then what say you?
And see, this is where we come, and I'm with those 4. And here, here's who's gonna have to get the 5th spot.
Lupe,
It's gonna have to be either Lupe,
Ransom,
Pusha,
or Ransom.
Ransom, and I was gonna say Talib's in there too.
You're right. I'm gonna tell you what. I would actually lean right now.
Shout out to my nigga Rome Streets. I love the y'all be bringing up Rome Streets. I love that album. That's my personal.
Yeah, Rome Streets is tough.
His flow's crazy, but yeah, I mean, this is a, and not to interrupt your train of thought, but I think that when it comes to J. Cole and what he did with features this year is dope, and it will probably work in a year where we had lesser quality output album wise, but there's too many quality albums that were put out by artists this year to even consider J. Cole for this category, and I say that respectfully. Without an album.
Lupe or Pusha?
You're not considering JID?
Huh?
You're not considering JID for this?
Would you put JID over Pusha or Lupe this year?
I might surprise you when I say this.
I'm cool with some fresh blood if you want to do some new blood.
I might surprise you with this. I'm cool with putting JID over Pusha this year.
What about Lupe?
That's the question. Because let me go to my Pusha thing before people call me crazy. I just feel like, and I still feel this way, I feel that on It's Almost Dry, I dig the doubling down on, what you do, that's fine. But I just feel like too many things have happened between Daytona and now in his life. And at this point in his career, you would think that this would be the turning point to kind of cover some heavier things. And I know he's done it before, but he didn't do it. This wasn't coming after Daytona. This wasn't coming after, bringing in a new child in the world and, all the great things that have happened in his personal life and, even the tragic things like losing your parents. And just kind of hearing more of the same. It's cool, but it's hard to give you that nod over somebody that gave you everything on the album like JID did. So that's why I would pick JID over Pusha in this instant. I just think that he did more with his album and he gave you more of him on this album. I think Lupe is the superior lyricist between the two when it comes to Lupe and JID. But I don't know. That's hard. Lupe gave you some quotables on this one. But I just feel like, again, JID might have given us more. I don't know. That's hard.
If I were to actually tell you this and to be honest about it, and this is what I mean. Well, Sold Separately is lyrically not Alfredo to me. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Freddie is more of an artist of the year contender than a rapper of the year contender this year.
Okay.
Because I feel like the songs are there, but lyrically, I don't feel like lyrically, he's phenomenal on Alfredo and he's consistent on Sold Separately. But on a year like this where, I'm not being funny. When Lupe, Black Thought, and Nas drop great projects, well, it's going to be hard for you to squeeze in the best rapper of the year conversation, like a real one, like realistically speaking.
No, that's fair.
If you're just being honest, this is one of Lupe's better albums. This is Black Thought's best album. This is one of Nas's better albums. That's 3 slots in my opinion. And so I'm cool with Benny and JID and putting Freddie actually more in the artist category because I think he would be a leading contender for artist of the year, maybe.
Well, that still leaves an open spot.
No,
you got Lupe. I'm sorry.
Benny.
You got Lupe, yeah.
So
Lupe. You got Black Thought, Nas, Benny, Lupe, and JID.
Yeah.
I'm down to put that up against HipHopDX's list because the only person that we have in common is actually JID. Interesting. Let me get to the super chats. Jay Short with the super chat says the game in the convo.
No.
I just don't think the game did enough himself, and I hate that because I feel like the strongest stuff that was on Drillmatic was the stuff that he did by himself. I was listening to Drillmatic the other day. We listened to a little bit of it on the Patreon. A lot of his songs that were just him were the strongest moments on the album.
True.
I
We
think
talked about that when we reviewed it.
I think only a few of those features should even stay. Like, I think the one with him and Cam, because I like the combo with him and Cam, and it's
Oh, that record's
unexpected.
dope.
It's a dope record. I think that
Killer stuff,
stays.
man.
I think the record with Pusha and 2 Chainz probably stays,
Mm-hmm.
and the record with Ye. Everything
Mm-hmm.
else he could have handled himself. And you know what? I personally like Outside, but
You like Outside?
I like
Yeah, go ahead and
Outside.
say it.
I like Outside, but I mean, I
I know
don't
the
think
West love
Outside was carried by the feature, though. You know what I mean? Like, he could have handled that with 2 verses himself.
But Outside is West West too. That's
Yeah.
West West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
36 Chambers with the super chat says JID out rap Pusha and Lupe this year. Radar, Crack Sandwich, Surround Sound, Dance Now, Laundry 2, Cody Blue, feature on Home with Mike Dims, 29 freestyle. Lyrically, he's insane. Come on, we got him in there. Well, speaking of which, though, Coop and I was talking about doing a station head, like, I think the Friday before New Year's Eve, and we just gonna run down all of the dope records or the best hip hop songs of 2022 to kind of bring in the new year, and we're gonna kind of have like a call in show where y'all can call in and chop it up with us, and we're gonna commentate and break down the records too, man. That should be a fun show.
Yeah.
Get to the music, man. I loved when we did that KD3 listening party, man. We're gonna do that to the max this time.
Yeah, I was thinking, we should take like a real, we should treat it like a real radio show, and we should take a 4-hour block. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should take a time slot and just block it out and just, talk to the people, play some music, put together the best records of the year with people's opinion and input. We obviously need to have our list triggered and be able to queue up the songs that you all are going to recommend. And you want to know why I want to do something like that is I kind of want to see the request. Like, I want us to do our list.
But people can send the request through there. Yeah. People can send the request through there. So,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's streaming platforms are linked up. Jay Short with the super chat says, playing devil's advocate, you can have great lyrics on a bad/mid album. Nostradamus, Blueprint 2, The Master, To Cal 2000, Immobilarity, etc. I agree with that, but we usually put those albums in context and put it in place properly, None of
those albums have great lyrics like that, except for album 1 of the Blueprint 2.
Well, I guess he's talking about the Kendrick thing, and again.
Yeah, but none of those albums lyrically are slapping like that he said. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like those albums lyrically ain't slapping like that. Like, Immobilarity ain't like that. Blueprint 2 not like that.
I think the Blueprint 2
ain't like that.
I think lyrically Jay took himself somewhere else with the Blueprint 2. I think that the Blueprint 2 is one of those understated moments in his career where his rapping really got him out of that ether situation. It was do or die.
When the coolest guy in the room is rapping to prove a point, that's not cool.
I feel
the coolest guy in the room is rapping to prove a point. It's not as cool. The effect's not the same. You're not cool anymore.
You're right. I feel what you're saying.
So
but that doesn't take away from.
That's not what Jay Forte is.
You're right, but that doesn't take away from how hard he rapped on that album. But I feel you because
it's a lot of technical rhyming going on that you knock Eminem for, is what I'm saying.
He never had to do that before.
Right.
He never had to. Well, he had some jamming songs on there. I mean, like.
No, there's some records on there.
Yeah, I'm not giving them for the fact
Jay technically rap for an album. Then nobody cop your shit for that.
7-6 Summers critics might not admit it, but nobody in rap did it quite like I did it.
Did it nice. It's like, oh, that's what we doing now.
Did it better? Did it nice? Did it different? Yeah, he was going in on that album.
Wasn't very conversational. Those sound like he was trying to prove a point.
Yeah, especially on The Watcher too, and that was very evident when he was really trying to out rap Rakim, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like you said, that's not what he's known to do. He could just out swag you, and he don't even have to.
Miss. Yeah. No, excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
This shit beautiful. I love him on Excuse Me, Miss.
Because he could just come in on a record like that record with Ja Rule, the gangster shit, where he's like, I understand why y'all niggas is mad at me, looking like, dang, that could be me. Like, he wasn't trying to out rap Ja Rule because he was Jay. But like, you're right. On the Blueprint 2, there was a lot of, even on the You Don't Know remix.
The You Don't Know remix,
yes.
It's like you're trying to out-rap MOP. It's like, fam, nothing against MOP. You're light years ahead of MOP on some rap shit. Like,
right. Cooks 24 with the super chat. It says, FB1. Yes, FB1. Yeah.